Hi, welcome to another episode of the Edmonds Mom's Room podcast. I'm Dr. Allison Felt, pelvic expert physical therapist and owner of Body Motion Physical Therapy. I am giving you this podcast from the comfort of my home due to the lovely COVID-19 that we are all quarantined by. And in the Seattle area, we're all at home with a stay-at-home order, right? So I thought I would put this podcast out because at this point, I'm recording this right now, it's mid-April, and we are all starting to get cabin fever. We've had amazingly beautiful weather, and so hopefully that's gotten you outside a little bit. But in this time, a lot of us are just feeling anxious, or maybe you're feeling blues, you're mourning different events and all this stuff. People have been experiencing crazy emotions. Really what this has brought out in a lot of us is just a more exaggerated version of ourselves, right? So if we were angry before, we're probably just a little bit more angry. If we were happy before, maybe we're more happy. So I think it's exaggerating a lot of these personality traits that we have and own. If you were easily irritable with your kids before, you're probably 10 times more irritable with them at this point, especially being bundled up at home with them. And so I want to give you some tips to help get out of that frustration and start owning your mindset so you can feel free, feel good, start getting your brain back. I finally just feel like me personally, it's been a challenge this whole time to have my mindset be positive and optimistic and all the things that I usually embrace with ease. So I want to share with you the one thing that you can control through this entire quarantine is your physical state, okay? So your physical state is going to contribute to your mental state. But a mental state without a solid physical state is going to lead to that fear. It's going to lead to the blues. It's going to lead to the anxiety, the worries. And so getting you going in a strong physical capacity is going to allow your mental capacity to be so much better and allow your mental mindset to be so much better. And so how do we do that? Get moving. Get outside, walk, get your heart rate up, do an exercise program. There is endless free content online, right? We're all scrolling on Instagram and Facebook just constantly all day. So right now, what you can do is find one of those workouts and just hit the workout. I said in a post today, I said, shake it, move it, or exercise it. And that's truly what's going to get your endorphins going. The movement is medicine. And so that's what you got to do to help get the mindset going, help feel better. Just start moving. Now, a lot of what we are getting calls about lately is people's backs. And I'm not going to lie to you, my husband's back has been bothering him about every other day. And today he woke up and he told me he couldn't get out of bed until the Tylenol kicked in. And I was like, why don't you let me help you? Right? So we are getting so many calls about people hurting themselves in their backs because they're doing different things. They're sitting in their home office, or they're pulling weeds and doing more gardening than they ever have in the past. And so a few things I want to talk about in order to, if your physical movement isn't feeling good and is causing you pain, that's gonna just mess up the mindset even more. And so we want you to have freedom of movement. And truly, that's actually why we're offering virtual visits too. So a few things, and the importance of pain-free movement is so your brain feels good, right? So how to have pain-free movement? Well, physical therapists, we're movement experts, okay? We're movement and exercise experts, and we are the mechanics of your body. And actually, even though you might be used to coming to us, the physical therapist, getting hands-on treatment for 50 minutes, or however long it may last, and walking out and feeling better, we can actually do a ton of work virtually. So we've been offering virtual sessions. So a couple of the moms that have contacted us who hurt themselves, one during gardening, and then one was packing up her house to move. And so she's just tons and tons of lifting, twisting, awkward movements that I'm not used to doing. right? We're all having our DIY projects and all of our things. So, a couple of the things in order to help make sure that you're not hurting your back that we go over in the virtual session is being able to have good body mechanics. So the beautiful thing about having us in your home via the computer is to check your posture, see how you're moving, how are you lifting your baby, how are you gardening, what does your back look like, okay? And so those are some really cool options that we have in order to help you and give you guidance so we can correct those postures, correct those body mechanics so you can move freely and not hurt your back. And then, of course, we can program some exercises for you and some movements that actually feel really good. A few steps that you can take to keeping your back healthy now is to, number one, stretch, okay? So you can go through some movements. If you're familiar with yoga at all, doing some cobra poses, as long as they're not painful, and doing some down dog are just some really great stretches to help open up your muscles that attach to your pelvis, and then also those control your low back, okay? So that's why leg muscles are so important in relationship to low back pain. We have to get your legs flexible and moving so they don't pull so much on your lumbar spine. So a lot of times the leg muscle tightness can actually be a cause of low back pain, or at least contributing to the low back pain. The other thing that's really important, let me throw in one more stretch there. So a piriformis stretch, so doing a nice cross-legged stretch so you get the outside of your hip. That is one of the other really awesome stretches to help with low back pain. Now, if this makes your pain worse, then you would avoid doing that. And we don't want to be causing any pain at all. So if you have any issues, you want to definitely consult a medical expert and healthcare provider. The best one to do that would be a physical therapist. So, and we're available for free consultation as well. So just reach out if you have any questions at all regarding whether the stretches are safe for your body specifically. So those three stretches are pretty much my favorite stretches to keep the back healthy, okay? So we're not talking about treating any problems. That's just keeping the back healthy while you're moving a lot at home. Now, I also want to talk about the other most important thing is using your core when you're doing exercise, okay? Or when you're unloading the dishwasher or washing the dishes. You want your lower abdominal muscles to be firing for you. You want these guys to be strong. Now, I'm not talking about just bracing your core. So like if someone was going to punch you, you'd kind of like, you brace up so they don't hurt you when they punch you in the gut. Okay, we're not talking about that strong of a contraction. We're just talking about the little teeny muscles that you would use. You would use them if you were putting on like a tight pair of pants and you're squeezing into them, you suck in just a little bit, okay? Now, we're not talking about holding your breath. You have to be able to breathe when you do this type of contraction. But this is the type of contraction that if you can strengthen this and use this during your daily movement, you're going to be able to keep your spine really, really stable and keep your back super healthy. So that muscle also works with your pelvic floor. And as you guys know, we're pelvic expert physical therapists, and so we don't like to leave out the pelvic floor. And the pelvic floor can be really useful in working with that lower abdominal muscle to help support your pelvis, support all your joints, truly. So I hope that guidance helps out a little bit. So to keep your back healthy at home, you're going to do some stretching. You're going to use that lower abdominal muscle when you're doing any exercises at all. And then as far as, really making sure if you do have any discomfort at all, you want to be reaching out to a pelvic expert physical therapist or a physical therapist if it's just generalized. Let me tell you though, if you've had kids at all and you're experiencing low back pain, there can be a lot of things that can be the root cause of that low back pain. So you could have issues in your pelvic floor. You could have issues in the actual bony structures of the pelvis. So some of the joints could be dysfunctional. If you pushed a baby out for hours on end and the baby was stuck in your pelvis, you can actually have some injury at some of those joints. If you had a C-section, you'll have scar tissue, so your lower abdominals are probably not going to fire as easily or at all. I know a lot of women who've gone 40 years never firing their lower abdominals. So of course they're going to have back pain if they don't have that muscle supporting their spine. And then a few other things. If you had any vaginal tearing as well, you can have scar tissue in the pelvic floor, and that's going to limit the ability of the pelvic floor to contract and support your core, because the pelvic floor is the bottom of the core. So it needs to be able to fire in order to support your back. So those are just some side notes of why you could be having pain. And if you've had babies in the past, you definitely want to be seeing a pelvic expert physical therapist so they can really, truly determine the root cause of your problem and get you the prevented, like not just help you get rid of the pain, but also prevent the issues later on in life. So I hope this was helpful in some regard. And, I went from talking about mindset and telling you about how important it is to move your body in order to really perfect that mindset and improve the mindset, I should say. Mindset is never perfected, right? We're just constant growing beings, and we have to be able to maintain a positive mindset in order to be able to access that growth. So movement can help start that process for you. And if you've been a little bit off track these last 4 weeks during the quarantine, then I highly suggest getting back to some movement. And if that movement is hurting at all, or if you've been pushing your body in new ways, definitely reach out so you're not quarantined and in pain. But I hope that was helpful. We're here for free consultations, and you can get a lot out of that. So let us know if you need anything.